Welcome to LNP's The Huddle. I'm Tim Gross, joined by John Welk and Keith Schweigert. John has the distinction of making all three of his predictions correctly last week, so we brought him back again. This is officially week one of the high school football season, the first full slate of high school football games. We're here to talk about two of them. We've got Donegal going to E-Town and Manheim Central hosting Warwick. So we'll start with Donegal and E-Town. Donegal was 6-4 last year. Kind of felt like that was a little bit of an underachievement. And E-Town, of course, with a new coach, went 2-8, but that's a little bit misleading because of a lot of the games they're in were close. They lost some late leads. So how do you guys think those two teams stack up?
Yeah, E-Town went 2-8 last year, as you said. 4 of those 8 losses were in the final quarter, which was one of the driving themes by second-year head coach Bill McDonald at the LL meeting a couple weeks back, and it sounds like a motivating factor coming into this year. Their offense is going to have to step up a little bit. They do have a lot back from last season, but they only averaged 11 points per game a year ago. These are two evenly matched teams. I think defensively they really match up well there, but offensively, McDonald being the second-year coach at E-Town, so that they bring back just about everybody on offense, so those players are going to have a whole year under their belts of learning that system. So I think that's going to kind of give them a bit of advantage. Donegal, they have, I think, 4 offensive linemen returning, but they replace all their skill players in the backfield and that receiver. So that's going to be something to factor in there. This is going to be a close one. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Bears. How about you, Keith?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Donegal is replacing a lot in their offensive backfield, but it's a wing T offense. They've been running it for years, so you would think kids that have been sort of coming up through the system are well schooled in it at this point. So maybe if it was not that the wing T is not a complex offense, but it's assignment football. Most of them probably know the assignments. It's just a matter of translating it onto the field. As you pointed out, E-Town did win their last 2 games last year, so they're coming into this year with momentum, a lot of experience. It's a good rivalry game. It's usually pretty close. I'm kind of with you though. I'm leaning E-Town just because they're hosting, and I think they do have some momentum from last year that is going to start to carry over.
I'm going to go with Donegal in this one. I think the Indians are just a little bit further ahead with where their program wants to be compared to E-Town. I think E-Town's going to close that gap a lot, but I just think Donegal has enough at this point where it has the slight advantage. We'll see where they are at this point next year. Maybe E-Town will have surpassed them there. So let's go to Manheim Central, where the Barons are hosting Warwick. Warwick, another 2-8 team last year. Manheim Central, 10-3, won a share of Section 2, but lost some key players to graduation. Do you think the Barons are still farther ahead in this one?
Yeah, people out in Manheim are really excited this season, like they are any year, and they have a right to be. I think they return just about 5 or 6 starters on offense and defense. Warwick, meanwhile, has 9 starters back on their defense alone, so that's going to be a factor. I do think Warwick's probably going to step it up this year. It might not be in week 1, though, and here's why. They return most of their skill guys on offense, but they do have questions along the offensive line, I should say. And their defense is back, but they're going to have to stop a Manheim Central offense that has 5 starters back, including quarterback Cody Kegarise. He does have new running backs and wide receivers, but anytime you have a quarterback coming back into the season, that always kind of gives you the advantage. Defensive side, Manheim Central has 2 of the best linebackers in the entire league, returning in Nick Brown and Tyler Lutz. So linebacker is like a quarterback of the defense, I should say. Plus, it's year 2 under head coach Dave Hahn there at Manheim Central. So I'm going to give the edge to Manheim. I think the Barons win it. It might not be close, but don't sleep on Warwick. I think they have a more improved season than 2-8 last year.
Yeah, they're kind of the trendy pick to make some strides in Section 1 this year. I don't know if I go so far as to say they're contenders, but they should definitely take some steps forward this year. I can't see them going into Manheim and getting a win there. I mean, that's hard to do under the best of circumstances. Lots of very good teams have tried and come up short. It's a tough place to go and play. As you pointed out, even though both teams are replacing starters at this time of year, it's the first week. Manheim Central has a system there. Hahn, taking over for the legendary Mike Williams, obviously. Made some tweaks, but it's still the Manheim Central program that we're all used to watching over the years. I give them the edge in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Manheim Central too. Warwick gave up 35 points per game on defense last year. I don't think they're going to be as susceptible to that. But it's a tough task to kind of go from that to holding off a really tough physical Manheim Central team. I also think just Warwick also gave up a ton of big plays last year, and that's kind of where Manheim Central can really beat you if they can break a game open with a couple big plays. Even though they're replacing a couple running backs, I think they still have enough to be capable of doing that. So I'm going to go with Manheim Central. Those are our picks for this week, so be sure to follow us on LancasterOnline.com throughout Friday and Saturday with complete coverage of this week in high school football.